Hello and welcome to the Listening Post's unboxing channel on YouTube. Today I'm taking advantage of the release of Pro-Ject's brand new X1 Turntable to share with you some basic setup information and advice as far as getting the very best performance and what to expect once you've got it out of the box. The first thing to do, and hopefully you've seen our unboxing video, is to take the lid off and just put it off to one side, just so you've got a nice opportunity to see everything. Put aside all of the pieces that you would expect to see. There's an acrylic platter, a felt mat, and the counterweight, all in the packaging with the turntable. The turntable comes out of the box looking like this and requires the most basic of assembly and then a rudimentary setup. Putting it just off to one side for a moment. The first thing to do is to examine the accessory pack. In the pack there is a basic instruction manual and an unboxing-reboxing set of instructions. There is a set of white gloves to ensure that the piano finish isn't damaged. A set of Pro-Ject's new twisted pair foil screened interconnects. There is a 45 adapter. The anti-skate weight. Now that's really important. It's good to see they've got a big label on this because this is often overlooked. In the bag is a tiny little wee weight and a little bit of fishing line with a little loop. We'll very carefully put that off to one side. There is a tool. Now that tool is specifically for the setup of the arm. It's rare to use it, but it's good that they've included it in there free of charge. The second little bag is actually a series of belts. Now there are two. The first is a round one, that is specific for 78 use. The turntable has a second pulley. In fact, hang around for a couple of photographs and I'll show you where these go for this operation. It has a second pulley inside, specific for when you are playing 78s. You change the speed to 45, you change the belt down to the larger cog and away you go. This is the belt we're going to fit today, and this belt is the same as you will find in most of the debut range, etc. It's branded Pro-Ject, and it's a flat rectangular belt. Okay. So again, the first thing to do is a simple enough assembly, and that's to take the belt. I like to put it with the label in the right place and wrap it around the main pulley wheel in the middle and on the top cog. Again, hang around for some close-ups. I'll take some photographs for you. You'll note that the motor itself is actually suspended, and one of the upgrades with this is that it is sitting in not only a rubber ring holding and suspending it, but also a series of pads, giving it excellent vibration dampening from the chassis. You simply check before putting the platter on that it turns freely and that the belt doesn't want to slip up and down. You take the counterweight and you simply slide it on the back there. Then obviously the acrylic platter and then felt mat. Now the mats typically have an up and a down, and most often I just look at whichever side looks cleaner and put it on. It makes no performance difference that I've heard of anyway. Okay. Now once assembled, the next challenge is getting the balancing right. This is a two-stage process, but the first is to release the arm from its transport twist tie. It's handy that they're in red to highlight. Highlight's got to be removed. The second is to then balance the arm, and again, please hang around for some close-ups. The process of balancing the arm is about setting the tracking force, how much downwards pressure the stylus and cartridge requires. The first thing to do is to set the arm's counterweight so that the arm is floating freely, or a 0 point. Now, too far back the arm will raise like this, too far forward and the arm will drop down. We want to find a 0 point, literally a 0, where the arm is floating naturally and not raising or lowering. Now, I know the mathematicians and scientists among you will hope that this is a binary scientific solution. But turntables aren't really like that. Changing the density of the record itself and other things is going to change the setup slightly. So it's important that we ensure that we're about right, and then it will sound as good as it can given the circumstances. Okay, nevertheless, we have a 0 point. Once you've established that by moving the counterweight, you hold the counterweight with one hand and turn the inner ring. This is simply a guide, and it has a 0 to 35 on that. You line the 0 up with the white line. Again, hang around for some close-ups. I'm going to take one specifically of this. And it gives you the ability to set a 0 as far as its tracking force. Now, within the manual there will be some recommendations as far as the tracking force of the cartridge. If you can't find that information, Google it. Ortofon and other manufacturers are excellent as far as providing the right information for tracking force. Nevertheless, once you've got the 0, you are applying a little bit of downwards pressure. Now this one sits between 1.5 and 2 grams, or 15 and 20 on this scale. And by twisting the counterweight forward slightly, you can see it's now applying a little bit of downwards pressure. At 15 it's starting to now drop, and somewhere between 15 and 20 is about right for this. At this point we don't need to add electronic scales or something along those lines, although please we can if we wish. We just need to be able to set a guaranteed tracking force. Now you'll note that I've done this away from the mat. For obvious reasons, we don't want the stylus damaged or picking up unnecessary fluff. There's normally enough room in there to let it float nicely. Now once you've set the tracking force, you can then add the anti-skate weight. Now again, it has a tiny little loop. Generally this sits in the second notch on the arm, and again the close-ups are going to help. I'll show you there. There are 3 notches on a little wee peg that's part of the arm's setup, and then you dangle that over the side. Now, just like this. Okay, so set and pin and down. Now that does the second part of the setup that's required, and that's applying a little bit of force to ensure that the stylus is tracking neatly in the middle of the groove. So there we have it. We've assembled it, we've set its tracking force, and we've added the counterweight. We're now ready to go. So there we are, set up here, the brand new Pro-Ject X1 Turntable here at the Listening Post in Christchurch, New Zealand.
Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, subscribe to our channel.